this is step 4 for generating a geologic map with digital tools for field 2. At this point we have all of our information that we fed through Google Earth, imported it into ArcMap, and when we exported it from ArcMap it became an Adobe Illustrator file. So now in Adobe Illustrator, that's where we're going to do the majority of our final mapping. So if we open that Adobe Illustrator file, I called it Geomap AI. We have an approximately 20 by 30 map. I called it GL map with north arrow, scale bar, ratio scale, all that information. All right, now this is all the data that we pushed from ArcMap. Now I don't have any of the polygons or any lines on here. It's a relatively simple map. You should probably have a decent amount of information. But in order to see what's going on, you want to click on this layers dialog. So on this right hand side, these multiple layers on top of each other, that is the layers. And as we turn these layers on and off, you can see what changes. So to begin with, that first layer called the other 3, and the names may change, that is all this external map information, scale, title, everything else. And then you can see that there's a hierarchy within here. So this is all the additional layers underneath there. We have the border, we have this other information, which is actually this Esri dumped information down at the bottom, and I don't think we need that, so we'll turn that off. The labels on the points, we can turn that off for now as well, and then of course the image is all that information within the data frame itself. Alright, as you pull in more information, you can actually pull in multiple layers and lay them down on here. You can turn them on and off, make them visible, make them invisible, and change the opacity, that kind of thing. It's easy enough to simply pick these layers, and I'm going to say I'm going to throw that one away. Sure, because I know I'm not going to use it. Okay, so now we have layers and information. What we need to do is actually draw units and boundaries. So I'm going to zoom in to somewhere around here and suggest, all right, here is my unit, and I actually want to map it out. We're going to start with the pen tool. So there's our pen tool. I'm going to click on a point absolutely randomly, and then as I click on the next point, you'll notice that without letting go of that button, you can actually change the shape of that line. So there are these little handles that come off of these points. You could either have these smoothly curving lines, or you can just click a bunch of points to make these not so impressive, just straight segments. So feel free to play with this as you see fit. There's actually some resources on how to use Adobe Illustrator in a more reasonable way, but I'm just going to draw a bunch of crazy lines. All right. So I double click on my last point, and there is my closed polygon. Let's assume that this is a unit and it's entirely defined by itself. So once I've done it, I can click on that unit and I can actually move it wherever I want to. But we'll leave it back down here for now. What I will probably want to do is actually change the characteristics of this. So if I make this the active layer, I can change the colors. Let's say I want to make it bright green. So this is the fill information. Over here is the stroke information. Up here is more information about these features. So this region is defined by this line, and so I can change the size of that, the line or the boundary. Let's say I'm going to take it up to 5 points, become significantly larger. I can of course change the color, which I can change it to white. I can make it black. If I double click on there, I can change things around as well. I can make it bright red. Reality is I probably want it black, and I probably want it at a reasonable size. Oh, let's say 2 point. And most likely I don't want this fill to be obnoxious green. So let's make it a nice blue color. All right, so there's my unit, and if I click anywhere off of that, it's all within there. I actually have a boundary. I have the fill within there, and I can change characteristics of the fill. I can put a gradient in there if necessary, but we're not. We're going to leave it at these consistent colors. All right, at this point you can start drawing your boundaries and actually put them into this map form. This is where you're going to spend a lot of time tweaking the details of how your map is going to look. Now, rather than me show you how to do all of this, you could be an Adobe Illustrator expert, so I'll let you run at that point. Or, if necessary, there are a series of tutorials that are already online about how to draw maps with Adobe Illustrator. And at this point, that's about all you need to get going, and plan to spend a decent amount of time drawing boundaries and drawing units. The next step, of course, is how do you put your legend into a map form. That will be yet another tutorial. So good luck.